Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Akil, and welcome to what's sadly going to be the last One Piece review for my channel, guys, because this is my last year of YouTube, and so therefore I will not be talking about One Piece ever again after this video, because after this year I'm done. As I've said before in the other videos I've done so far this year, which has barely been anything so far this year. But anyway, the point is that I've said before that this is going to be my last year of YouTube. So therefore, again, I'm repeating it. I don't care. I'm not going to talk about One Piece again. But nevertheless, we are still here talking about it right now. So I'm going to do that obviously. And we are talking about Egghead. This is season 21 of One Piece. Well, for me, because I follow with how Wiki describes it. But you guys can just call it Egghead. And I saw the last 7 episodes today. I did watch the last 12 episodes sub, sorry, because the dub was not done. I have always seen dub. I've dabbled into sub a bit, but I'm just used to dub for like cartoons and stuff. When it comes to foreign films, I watch subbed, obviously, not dub, but still. Anyway, regardless, I watched sub for the last 12 episodes, and it still had the same impact for me personally. But anyway, Egghead. That's what we're here to talk about. What did I think about it overall? Well, it started off solid, but then it got better as it went along, guys, if I'm going to be honest with you. It's kind of like Skypiea basically all over again. That 6th season, if you guys remember back in 2022 now, it was when I reviewed it. That was like a while ago. But anyway, it's like that. But it's like Skypiea, but better. Like, there's so much crazy shit that happens in this arc later on. It's insane. Like, I thought this arc would be very chill, but no. I did not expect it to go into crazy levels and like hype stuff later on as the arc went on. It's crazy. No wonder this was 67 episodes, but I do have some things I do want to talk about that in terms of the length when we get onto the rest of the review. But basically, it involves the Straw Hats arriving in Egghead, and there's one of the worst generation members. I wouldn't say who that person's involved, and maybe the pictures will give it away. I would say that, but regardless, it's a very important arc for that specific character. I would say that. But anyway, this arc has a crazy backstory, one that people were really crying over. I didn't cry, but I definitely felt sad. I can't lie. So there's that. But yeah, one of the best backstories ever in One Piece. But that's still not enough to say that this is like my favorite arc ever. Sadly, Water 7, nothing is gonna beat that. But this is pretty close to a top 5 favorite arc. Wano I thought was more epic. Water 7 still my favorite. Alabasta and Along Park to me personally had the bigger impact overall. And I can't remember what the other one was. Maybe just Rosa. That was also done very well too. But this is close to being a top 5 favorite arc personally. I haven't placed it on my ranking yet. I have to think about it. But yeah, it's pretty close. But I loved Egghead. I thought Egghead was great. And we got some great new characters as well. So there's that. But yeah, I'm not really going to spoil anything else, guys, because this arc, there's so much that happens. Yeah, this really does feel like the beginning of the end for One Piece. It really does. No wonder this is the final saga. Like, Oda is really going full steam ahead here. I mean, yes, Elbaf has not started in the anime, and it's still going on in the manga, but still, I'm very curious to see what happens with that. So there's that. Anyway, in terms of the positives, I thought the action was fantastic. One Piece clearly knows what they're doing by now. Toei clearly knows what they're doing, I would say, by now when it comes to the action and how they craft it. Yeah, the action, there's some great fights here. Overall, it's done very, very well. Another thing was the characters. I like to love a lot of the new characters that we got, and obviously we got our gang back as well, the Straw Hats. It's just really nice to get back into One Piece after not seeing it for almost a year now. Like, last time I finished Wano was like April last year. And so yeah, it was like almost a whole year since I'd not seen One Piece. So there's that. But yeah, the characters are great. And then Wakiwas, I mentioned it before, the backstory. The backstory was done very well. I love the backstory overall in the arc. I thought it was done very well. Now, going into the negatives, the pacing was off. I did not think it needed to be 67 episodes, especially towards the end. They did kind of drag it. They dragged it definitely quite a bit. And even like the fights as well, like it just felt like they were going on and on and on. Like, these guys are still fighting, seriously. Like, why? Like, it just feels like realistically, like the fighting should have ended, and then Jinbei flying to find someone should have also like been resolved. Like if you watch it, you probably know what I'm talking about, I would say. And then another thing in terms of negatives, I did feel like the start uh was not like the best personally for me. Like I feel like again as it got went on, it got better. Like I wasn't so crazy in love with the start. I also kind of felt the same way about Water 7, like the first couple episodes. I feel like that's the thing. Like once certain arcs start to like pick up and get going, then it's like okay, full steam ahead. Like even early on, like there was some stuff like beyond the first couple episodes that I was not expecting them to cut away from the Straw Hat so soon and show some other characters even fighting. I was like, what is this arc, man? I was not expecting this early on. This is crazy. But guys, that's all I can really say about Egghead. I don't want to drag it on too long. So yeah, I'm just gonna say I love that Egghead was done very well in my opinion. So as a final score, I'm gonna give Egghead a 8 out of 10. Yes, the score for Egghead would be 8. Not final score, just score. I don't really. Yeah, I guess you could say final score. But you know what? You get the point. Yeah. There's no pre-rating score in this because it's not a movie review. But I did talk about positives, negative story, whatever. But yeah, 8 out of 10. I loved it. Again, I'm not sure it would be a top 5 favorite arc after thinking about it. But I still do love this arc. It's definitely one of my favorites for sure. But again, not top 5. So there's that. But guys, that's it. That is Egghead done for One Piece. Next up, in terms of anime reviews, I do plan on seeing 4 anime this year, even though this is my last year of uni, even though I should have finished before, but because I changed courses, this is my last year. But anyway, the 4 anime that I've got lined up for this year are Cowboy Bebop, My Hero Academia, since it finished last year, Rurouni Kenshin, the 90s, the original one from the 90s, and Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Rurouni Kenshin and Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood I planned to watch last year after Hunter x Hunter, but then I slowed down and I tapped out Hunter x Hunter, so they're both being pushed to this year, so I'm still watching them, just being pushed back to this year, but I do want to get through Cowboy Bebop and MHA first, so there's that. However, I won't be going into those just yet because I do like to go on with my show rotation, switching between anime and live action, basically. And so I will be watching another live action show, and that's His Dark Materials. I've wanted to watch that for quite some time now. So after I finish that, I will then be starting Cowboy Bebop. So there's that. But guys, that's all I have to really say for now. What did you guys think about Egghead? I didn't really go into it too much because I don't want to spoil it, but we are in the final saga. You know, as Doctor Strange once said, we're in the endgame now. Literally, it is. It's crazy. Only a couple more years, guys, and then it's over. Wow. I can't believe it. But guys, that's all I have to say for now for season 21 of One Piece. Thank you guys so much for watching. What do you guys think of Egghead? Tell me in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. My name is Akil, otherwise known as the Comic Director, and I'm signing out.